Hello, everybody. This is week 12, and this is my final um project, my second final project, because there was one from week 6, but now it's week 12, and then after that'll be later on, it'll be another final. My final is about combining jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap, and HTML. But this time it's going to be using the JSON server. And what I've created is a Friends app. So what I'm going to do is going to show you what I have been doing, and I'm going to show you this live. For example, I have names right here. If I want to add one, let's pretend somebody like Hugh Downs. I submit it. Whoops, forgot one other thing. Let me do one other thing. All right, got that going. We go back. Let's say I add Hugh Downs to this. He's here. He's added as ID number 6. First name is Hugh. Last name is Downs. So he's added to my list. And when I go back to the db.json, he is in here now. He's right there as ID 6. But if I go back and let's say I edit ID 1 with me, Jason Naggles, I take off a name or take a few letters off or something, or change the last name or change the first name, it doesn't matter. And if I change it, instead of saying Jason Naggles, we'll say Jason Nagel. And it does. So that's pretty cool. The other thing I can do is delete stuff. I can delete something, and that deletes it from the db.json file. So it's not there anymore. It's gone. Hugh Downs is gone. And of course, my last name Naggles is now Nagel, Nagel, instead of Naggles. So let's say I want to add another one. Let's add, let's say, let's play with this. Let's say I add Lionel Richie. He would be number 6 in that order. So he's there. So if I want to edit him and change it to a different first name, instead of Lionel Richie, let's call it Guy Ritchie. He changed his first name, went from Lionel to Guy, and it's updated in the db.json file. So if I show you that, it'll show me back here Guy Ritchie instead of Lionel Richie. So I can delete things, and when I delete things, it'll clear out a corresponding piece. Let's say I got rid of me, Jason Nagel. That's gone. But it's also gone in the db.json thing. So that's gone. So even the ID number 1 is gone. That's okay. But let's go back, add me again. It's going to go to the next number. It's not going to go back to 1. It's going to go back to, I think, 7. Yes, 7. So that's fine. So I can add things. I can delete things. I can edit things. I can edit first name or last name. I can delete any of these entries, and it will also delete it in the db.json file. And that's what I want to show you on that. But what I want to show you is, first of all, I used Bootstrap CSS, and the name of the app that I made the title under the title tag is Friends app. I'm using Bootstrap CSS. I used a form, And I gave it a bunch of IDs and classes to make it work, make it happen. And when I put the word require, it means if I leave it blank and I hit the submit button, it's going to say it needs to be filled out. So either the last name or the first name is required, that it requires something to be typed into those fields. Made a submit button that is blue. The button is blue, or the button is actually yellow, warning, and then the text is blue. So if I go back, there it is right there. So, and then I made my table. Having it with a first name, with the ID in the table header and the ID, first name in another table header, and then a last name in another table header. Then I made friends. I made the friends loaded. I made friends will be loaded using jQuery, and this is where I have jQuery and bootstrap.js here, and I'm using all of that. And I made a style sheet called I made a style sheet at the top called style.css to make the body have a padding of 20 pixels. Then I go to my index.js, and I have installed the JSON server, and it's giving me a URL API URL as localcast.3000/friends. I have that loaded right now because it's watching the database.json file, make sure everything changes when I make changes, whether I delete it, update it, read it, or create. So what I've done here is when I go to add a friend, it's adding a friend's last name and first name and last name to the Friends app, as well as to the database.json file. When I edit a friend, it edits not only the first name and the last name or both. It will do that by clicking the yellow edit button. I have to literally change something in the last name, first name, or both. And then after I do that, I click the yellow, the edit button, and then change the data that way, either the first name or last name, or both. After that, once a change is made, I click the submit button, and that changes. It updates it. It changes and it updates. Updating the friends, first name, last name, or both after clicking the submit button. I can do that. And after that, the change is updated in the db.json file. And when I delete a friend, whether I delete a friend's first and last name as well as their ID by clicking the green delete button. So that will not only take the first and last name out, delete that information, but it will also delete the ID that's correspondent with that name, with the first and last name of that person, of that friend. So again, I want to show you what I did again just one more time. Here are my friends. Here are some of friends and some fake ones I made up. If I want to get rid of, let's say if I want to do it again, if I want to do Guy Ritchie and edit, I edit, it posts his first name and last name. Let's make it Lionel again. And then hit submit. And that changes his first name from Guy to Lionel. Richie was never changed, so I never changed Richie. If I want to delete it, I can delete it, so that'd be ID number 6. And if I want to add Lionel Richie again, or Guy Ritchie, whatever it may be, whatever you add in there, it will add the next ID, meaning what's on the bottom, if it's whatever's after number 7, it will be number 8. I haven't figured out how to make it go back in order and all this kind of stuff. But at least I'm getting the point where I can add I can add, delete, edit, and add, delete, edit, and create. So read, that is. So that's number 8. So I made that happen. So that's what I wanted to show you. That I can edit, I can delete, I can create, and I can, I can create, I can read, I can update, and I can delete things. And this was for my new friend manager, which is the Friend app. So, Friends app. So that's what I wanted to show you, and that's all I have right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Maybe give it a thumbs up, give it a like, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. Thank you again.